welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? I'm really in a good mood today. I woke up and I was like, oh, I just want to create like a really nice sultry girly look that will look so pretty. And you know what, now that I'm looking at this looks like such a nice look for bridesmaids. Yeah, I like this. It's kind of like a rose gold going into like a warm pinky purple smoky eye. It looks really, really pretty with some dramatic lashes like I've got on. Anyway, enough blabbering. Today's video is going to be about beauty hacks. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I have started a series called Beauty Chat KE. Yes, I have been a little bit inconsistent with that, guys, bear with me. But I tried to do a video a few weeks back on beauty hacks and tips and tricks, but we had really crappy internet. Every time I try and do a live, honestly I don't know what happens, but my internet just decides to mess up. And I wanted to do this video on beauty hacks for you. So to make it for the fact that that beauty chat didn't even really work, I decided to make it into a video where I could just sit down and run through some of my beauty hacks with you. So that's what today's video is going to be about, my top tips and tricks to get your makeup to slay. And it's kind of in a different format. I've done it kind of in the version of a tutorial. So even though I'm describing my hacks, as you'll see as we go through the video, I'm also kind of demonstrating how I put the hacks into practice. So I hope that's going to be useful for you. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Go ahead, please. Thanks so much for supporting me, you guys. And if you're new here, thanks so much for clicking on this video. Share the video. Let other people know, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I love making these videos and your encouragement and support really kind of spurs me on to do more. And before I go, I have to say a really massive thank you to all of you that voted for me in the Bake Awards 2018. Your support was absolutely amazing. I had a ton of people kind of just sending me on WhatsApp like their things to show that they confirmed that they voted. I had people tweeting me and saying that they were voting for me. I had people DMing me and saying that they were voting for me. So your support is so incredible, especially for a small content creator like I am. And honestly, it just spurs me on to see so many of you guys out there that support the work that I do. So thank you so much. We'll wait and see. I doubt I'll win. I'm in a hair and beauty category, and we know how big hair is in Kenya. And I'm really like pushing Bake, hopefully, that they'll start considering beauty as its own separate category, because I'm the only beauty blogger in that category. But even if I don't win, I just want to say an amazing big thank you for all of your support. It means so much to raising the profile for not just myself, but for other beauty bloggers out there. So thank you so much, and let's just get into the video. Okay, so I'm starting off completely barefaced. That's because the first tip that I have for you is for eyebrows. So for eyebrows, have you ever done your eyebrows and then gone out for the day and then they start getting a little bit oily, or accidentally you touch it and then it moves? Girl, listen, there was one time I've done that, like rubbed off the end of my eyebrow and didn't realize that I was doing it. And then later on went to the loo in the day, like a couple of hours must have passed, and I was like, oh my God, like I rubbed off my eyebrow, and it's just so distinct. And if you haven't got your pencil to like fix it up or touch it up, then it can be a nightmare. So I'm going to show you a couple of tips to help your eyebrows last for longer during the day. If you're using a gel kind of pomade, then you probably won't have this problem because gel tends to kind of set down. But I'm going to show you tricks to use with pencil, because most of us are using pencil, and for pencil you need to be able to do this to just help it stick and stay. So the first thing to do is to really create something for your pencil to grab onto. And for that, then you really want to use a primer. And the primer that I use, because my eyebrows do get oily during the day, is to use a mattifying primer. So you can choose any mattifying primer that you like. My favorite at the moment from like the drugstore is this Rimmel one. I'm just going to use a tiny amount of this, squeeze it out of the tube, and apply that directly onto my eyebrows. So I'm just rubbing it onto the whole kind of eyebrow area. So not just where my eyebrow hairs are, but even a little bit longer and a little bit wider sometimes, because you want to make sure, because I draw on my eyebrows in some places that are a bit sparse and I make them a little bit longer, I want to make sure that that section's got something to hold on to as well. Tip number 2 is to go in with a really sharp pencil. I can't stress this enough. I keep my pencil sharpener on deck, like it's permanently here where I do my makeup, and I will sharpen my pencil even in between brows if I need to. Why do you want a sharp pencil? Because that allows you to be super precise, and especially when you're doing kind of like hairs here at the beginning of your eyebrow, it's so important to make sure that it's really sharp, because it kind of helps them come out more natural. If you end up with a kind of blunted down pencil, it ends up being a little bit thick, and that means that you can't get the fine hairs that you need to get kind of right here at the front. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my eyebrows as normal, so this bit will be sped up. Top tip number 3 for your eyebrows is to comb through your brows after you've done your pencil work. So you can end up sometimes with it feeling a little bit thick and heavy at the front, and if that is a problem or a challenge, just grab your spoolie brush and kind of just comb through the hairs, particularly on the front section. It really, really helps to kind of soften up any harsh pencil lines that you've got there and distribute the pencil product through your hairs more evenly. Alright, so one more top tip for your eyebrows. You could leave them like this, and the primer will probably help you during the day to be able to hold onto your brows and as well not have oil peek through. But if you want to like super lock them in, like these ain't going nowhere boo, then you need to go over what you've done with the pencil with a powder. And so what you do is just grab any palette that you have that's got a dark, kind of cool toned brown. What I mean is the brown doesn't look like a red, yeah? So you want to go for one that looks almost black, but it's a super dark brown. And I grab my Morphe palette, and sometimes I go into this corner shade right here, and sometimes I go into this shade right here. So today I think I'm going to go into this one because I want it to be quite dark, so I'm going to use that one right there. And I'm just using a really teeny tiny brush and just picking up some product. And then you don't want to swipe this on, you want to dab it onto your eye. So I usually typically start at the tail end and just gently dab on that product. And then move towards the front. When I come to the front, and this is why it's important to have a really fine brush, I'm using stroke hairs, mimic stroke function, so mini strokes. Okay, so for eyeshadow, you'll have seen me do this a lot of times, but probably I haven't explained it in all of my videos and tutorials, is that I always prime my eyelids, which means I put a base down on my eyelids before I start applying my eyeshadow. And that is for 2 reasons. The reason number 1 is that once you put down a base, you have something that the eyeshadow can adhere to, stick to. And that really helps with the longevity of your eye makeup. If you've ever just put on eyeshadow and wondered during the day why it's kind of transferring, slipping and sliding across your eyes, it's because you haven't primed your lids. Now there are specific eye primers out there that you can buy, but I honestly don't feel like I need to buy it because what I use is a concealer, and a concealer basically does everything that I need to do, that I need it to do, that a primer would do. So any concealer that you would use to clean up your eyebrows, highlight your face, grab that concealer and lay that down as a base colour on your lid. I'm using the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define in the shade 13. So I literally just swipe that directly onto my eye, and then I get a quite dense brush, and then I'm going to basically use that to spread this concealer all over my eyelid. And because I do my eyes first before I do the rest of my face, then it doesn't matter if this kind of comes out a bit far. I really don't stress myself too much about that. But when you blend it out, it should look something like that. Okay, so I've gone for quite a smoky, intense eye, and now I really want to brighten up this look on the lid. And for that, typically you'll see me go in and do with a bright shimmer shade, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. So have you ever picked up a palette and you've gone into a shimmer shade and you've tried to apply it on your lid, but somehow the pigment just isn't paying off to what it looks like in the pan? Like you're like, oh yes, this colour is going to be amazing, and then you dip into it and then you put it on your eye and then you're like, hold on a minute, what happened between me dipping in and putting it on my eye? Like, what happened? So the hack that I have for you will help you make all your shimmers pop. Okay, so what you want to do is grab your flat shader brush, and I've got one right here, and then you need to spritz your brush. So I typically will do this with some Fix Plus, but you don't have to go out and buy Fix Plus just for this. And what you could also do is mix your own kind of DIY Fix Plus, which is basically just water and glycerin. I didn't tell you. So spritz your brush. I've gone ahead and spritzed mine, and then you want to go into the palette that you want to use for your shimmer shade. And oh, I don't know what I'm going to use. I think I'm going to go into this shade right here, just above the blue. It's a rose gold, but it has a little bit more warmth to it. Yeah, there's quite a few lovely pinks in here. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for that one. Let me use that one. And then you just go ahead, grab your brush and swipe it into the colour that you want to use. So you want to make sure that you pick up the colour onto your brush. Now it's going to look like your brush is eating all the product. It's not, I promise you. It's going to pay off right onto your eye. So then you just go ahead and apply this straight onto your lid, where you want it to go. And already you get a beautiful kind of colour payoff just by doing that. So another tip for you with eyeshadow, if you've got quite small eyes, when you're applying your shimmer shade, you don't have to stick to just the lid bit of your eye. So you don't have to stick to everything that's there kind of on your crease and lower. You can take it up a bit higher, and that will give you the impression of having bigger, more open eyes. And it's a trick that I use all the time on myself and on clients as well, and it works really well. So you just want to start really subtle, but you want to take up the colour slightly higher than your crease line, so slightly higher than your eyelid, and that will give you the impression of having a bigger, more open eye. It's a fantastic trick. I use it all the time. Okay, last quick tip for eyeshadow is if you have kind of done this kind of a look and you've got a shimmer shade and then you've got the end there, you need to help blend those two colours together, because typically you've got something quite dark in the corner and then you've got this bright kind of colour that you've put there, and they're too harsh next to each other. So what you want to do is go back into the colours that you used in your transition, and I used this shade right here, and I just want to pick up a teensy bit of that and help to blend those two colours together, because I can't transition from super bright to super dark. You want to help the colours kind of blend together really nicely. So just pick up a little bit of that transition shade that you used and just blend those colours together. So next we move on to what? Eyeliner. I usually do this completely off camera, just because it can be quite stressful trying to get it right. But today I'm going to attempt to do this on camera. Let's see. So eyeliner is super tricky for a lot of people, just because I feel like you're super sure that you're super conscious of the fact that you've done your eyes and they look really pretty, and now you're going with liner and you might screw everything up, which is definitely true. But I'm going to show you one quick tip that will help you, I swear, like a millionfold when you are doing your liquid eyeliner. So the problem is usually this. When you're doing eyeliner, a lot of people just kind of go in with a free hand, watch my hand, and then just start drawing on eyeliner. That's where honestly everything goes wrong, because you haven't got a steady hand. Your hand will start shaking all over the place because it's got nothing to hold it in place, and which means that you end up with eyeliner everywhere. So my top tip is this: you want to rest your hand onto your face. So this is also why I do my eyes first, because it means I'm going to have to rest onto my face. But if you have already done your skin makeup, then you can just grab like a cotton round, a small cotton round, and place that on your face, and that can be where you rest your hand. So resting your fingers on your hands, what that does is it gives you an anchor base. So it's something for your hand to be supported by so that it doesn't shake so much. It's got a good foundation and really, really helps with being able to control your eye. The second tip that I've got is, because your skin on your eyelids is quite loose and it can move around quite a lot, is to pull your eye quite tight when you're doing your liner. Pulling it tight will mean the skin isn't going to move as much, and trust me, this will help you completely when you are doing your liner, because it keeps things nice and tight, which allows you to be more precise. Okay, my next hack relates to eyelashes, and eyelashes I know is another area where a lot of guys kind of struggle how to apply eyelashes. And honestly, there's no super duper secret to being able to apply lashes. Practice will get you more perfect, so just keep trying. But I do want to show you one specific hack on how you apply your lashes, which will change everything for you. So, lashes. A lot of people do this. So I've picked up my lashes, I've put glue onto the lashes that I want to wear today, just a little bit of glue onto the lash band. I have already trimmed the lashes to make sure that they fit my eye. And so a lot of people will apply their lashes like this. They'll get their lash and then they'll try and apply it kind of horizontally to their eye, right? Do you see this? They're going to try and apply it like this. You don't want to do that. If you try and do that, honestly, you will struggle so hard, because what are you going to do? As soon as you start bringing your lash in like that, you're going to hit your own lashes, and then you're going to be struggling trying to get this on top. You're going to end up with glue all over your eye. It's going to mess everything up. So top tip for lashes is this. Grab a mirror and put the mirror almost horizontal, or is it perpendicular to your face? I don't know the term. Is it perpendicular? I think it is. So put the mirror almost perpendicular to your face, so you're looking down into your mirror. And then grab your lash, and you want to apply it from the top of your face, i.e. from your forehead, bringing it down to sit on your lashes. So I do this with a tweezer. You can do this with your fingers, and I sometimes use both, particularly if I've got short nails. I will use my fingers as well. So this will really, really help. So trust me, I'm just going to do it without talking, but doing it in this way will change the way that you do your lashes. Give it a go, and then you let me know whether you think that it works. Once you've positioned your lash where you want it to be, then you want to use the teeth of your lash to press together your eyelash and the base of the false eyelash. Okay, so I've applied both of my lashes now, and this one's just going to leave it to fully dry, so you can probably still see some of the glue there, but that's all going to dry beautifully. And then we're going to move on to the face. So most of you, I'm sure, will have heard about this hack before, but it is basically to apply powder before you do your foundation. I heard of this hack years and years ago from a makeup artist called Wayne Goss here on YouTube, and he talked about this years ago for oily skin girls being able to use powder to kind of help your foundation not be as oily and to break down as fast during the day. It's recently been made popular by Jaclyn because she does it a lot, but just to let you know, it started off with Wayne. So the trick is to grab yourself a loose powder, and I'm using my black Opal loose powder that I usually use to set my under eyes after I've done my concealer. So you need to grab that, and then you need to grab your beauty sponge. Please make sure that it's wet. Wet is super key for this, so make sure that it's damp and you've squeezed out all the excess water so that it's nice and springy and ready for use. And then basically it's just really simple. So you just dab your sponge into your powder. Ooh, that was quite a lot. And then apply that onto your face where you have oily issues. So mine is, as you can see, on my cheeks, on my chin, and then I'll come back and do my forehead after this. But basically you want to just press the powder into your skin, and it will help any oils that kind of want to come through to be absorbed before they kind of come to your foundation layer. So this is definitely something you want to do only if you're going to put on foundation. and not just if you're going to do like powder. As you can see, it's considerably lighter than my skin, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. It will be fine. And why you use a sponge is because you want to press in the powder into your skin. Like, you want to make sure that it gets right into those pores and isn't disturbing what you've got going on top. I had already laid down some primer beforehand, but this is just to add some extra security to kind of help my makeup go the extra mile. So this, it doesn't have to be something that you do every day, and if you find that your primer kind of holds up. But maybe if you've got like a really long day, or if you've got like a wedding or a function to go to, then this is a great step to kind of just add in between. But again, it's only really for dry and oily skin girls. Right, so I'm just going to go ahead and do my foundation. So we're going to speed through this bit, and then I'll come back for another tip in a second. Okay, so I went ahead and did a little bit of blush as well, and finished up the rest of my eyes under there. So my top tip for you is, if you have finished doing your face like I have, and you feel like it looks a little bit powdery or a little bit cakey because you've already gone with the primer, then you laid on top powder, then you went in with your foundation, then you went in with concealer, then you set everything with powder again, you might be feeling a little bit cakey. So top tip is to do this. Grab your finishing spray or setting spray. I first always go in with Fix Plus just because it helps everything kind of sink into each other. So any spray that you've got will basically do this, but I love to use Fix Plus. So what you want to do is just spritz that all over your face, fairly generous amount, and then you go back and grab your sponge and then just use that to kind of press and roll that spray into your face, particularly in the areas where you're struggling with powderiness. So if that's under your eyes, then you get your under eyes. If it's like on your forehead, then you get your forehead. You know, anywhere that you've got those kind of issues, but I just kind of like to do this all over my face. And then I find that that kind of helps everything just kind of sink in so beautifully and so perfectly. Okay, last tip is related to highlighter. So grab yourself your highlighter, whichever highlight you want to use. So typically for me, it's a powder highlighter. So I'm using the Sleek Contour Kit, and I'm using the highlight side of this kit. And then what you want to do is use that same sponge that you've got, and then just pick up some of that highlight onto your sponge. Now, because your sponge is a little bit damp, this is going to do so much wonders in terms of making your highlight pop, but in the right way. So I've just picked up a little bit on there, and I'm just going to show you how it applies to the top of my cheekbone. So you can see I'm getting the colour payoff that I need without fighting with my face. And what I mean is, I'm not getting a horrible stripe, I'm not getting anything chunky or glittery. I think this also really works well if you have got a chunky kind of highlighter that's got glitter in and you don't like how that's applying, then use a sponge instead, because I think it picks up the sheen without picking up too much of the glitter. I'm going to put some onto my Cupid's bow right there, and then a little tiny bit onto the bridge of my nose. The great thing about this is, if you want to go for the gods, you can just keep packing it on. And you could even go on top now, just say like with fan brush, if you want to really, really make it scream. But if you don't want it to be too highlighted and you feel like you've done a bit much, just turn your beauty blender to a side that you didn't apply that with, and then you can just dab on top of it and take away any of that excess sheen or shine that you feel like you placed, if you feel like it's a little bit too glaring. But this, I find, gives you the most beautiful, natural looking highlight without struggling too much. You get the colour payoff that you want without it screaming so much. Alright guys, that brings me to the end of this video. What do you guys think? I tried to kind of make it a little bit different rather than just sitting down and speaking to you about the hacks. I wanted to show you some of the hacks in kind of motion, because I know sometimes somebody says, oh, do this, but they don't really explain what does that actually mean, like how do I put that into practice. So I'm hoping you found this format useful for running through some of my beauty hacks. I would love to hear if you've got any hacks of your own that I didn't mention. Please leave them down below in the description. Like a hack, you might save a life, like seriously, you might save a makeup life. So leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. If you did enjoy this video and you would like to see more videos like this, then please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I'll see you in my next one.